Good morning. It's Monday morning and I hit go live before I was ready. So this is why I do everything on Monday mornings. I'm testing everything for my Zooms and with clients and conference Zooms and things like that, because it's not like I haven't done it 50 million times. I still muck up every single time. Let me just bring up the chat. I just want to make sure I can see. Yeah, I didn't even have it on. Anybody leaving comments? And I must say, you're very well behaved. You leave me lovely comments. Well, except for that guy on YouTube. But anyway, blocked him. Doesn't matter. So, if you haven't met me before, hello. Nice to meet you. My name's Laurel Papworth. And just need to make sure I don't top out on audio. No, we're good. If the audio is too loud, please let me know. My name's Laurel Papworth. I'm a social media strategist, a consultant. I work with mostly government, but companies. And I am also a lecturer, lecturer and tutor and facilitator and all that good stuff from universities through to here in Australia, little colleges, country and city colleges and things like that. Monday morning, I do social media news, and we do social media news because sometimes you tell me what the news is for about half an hour, give or take, definitely under an hour. And I do this to check my tech setup. You know this already if you've seen this before, but this is for the newbies, the newcomers. And I also like to catch up on the social media news of the week before. And I'm really excited because I really think we're not going to see quite the focus on certain world leaders being blocked and banned from social media. And then I dug in and looked at their advertising spend and we did all that kind of stuff. Audio is okay. There's a slight distortion. Is it too loud? Hammerstrand? Just so you guys can see. Let me put the chat up. What kind of distortion? Is it? It could be too loud maybe. I'll just move the mic away. It's a single direction mic. I forget what they're called. Concatenate or something. So yeah, thanks for letting me know. I will listen to that and see if I can figure out what it is later. So it's possible that social media news is now back to actual news headlines, and we're going to discover them together. I haven't pre-researched. This is my half an hour I set aside at the beginning of the week to catch up on the social media news of the previous week so that I know what's going on. Anyway, let's move on. The first thing I want to point out is I've moved back to Feedly, and I had a subscription to Feedly up until April anyway, and then I've just renewed it. InnoReader doesn't do it for me. InnoReader is not, I thought InnoReader would replace both Feedly and Fetch RSS, and it doesn't even do what Feedly does. So we are back at Feedly. We're back home at Feedly. And if you've been watching this for a couple of months, you'll know I gave it a good go. I had a free version since August, didn't I? Didn't we sign up? Didn't you watch me sign up on InnoReader? And then I bought the Black Friday extra 6-month deal. So now I've got 18 months of InnoReader sitting around. Let's have a look and see what the news is. First of all, is that clear? Is it large enough for you to see? I'm running this in the format called Cards View. Let's move to Magazine View and then maybe we can make it a bit bigger. If you're not familiar with Feedly and InnoReader, effectively you create your own newspaper on topics you're interested in. So I created a newspaper on social media news so I could stay up to date on things. I also threw in big data because I'm interested in big data. So if it's traditional media, they only give us the headline, the thumbnail, and the title. And that's pretty typical with heritage media, traditional medias. determination to drive us to their website. They can monetize RSS feeds, and they can monetize through Facebook and Google, who've given them their own services so they can monetize articles that are read or watched or whatever on those platforms. But they've chosen to have a big old whinge about it instead and try and get, I don't know, more money out of them, even though they're adding their own ad inventory in. So Australia Day is tomorrow for those of you that are overseas watching. Yeah, Feedly's good. It's not great, but it's better than the competition. How about if I'm back out here? You need to, Maureen, I've dropped the resolution down on the screen. Make sure that you click the cog and say you want to see it in high definition. And I'll also say LinkedIn is pretty shocking at with their API. So even I'm broadcasting this in HD, but I could be doing it in 4K and it wouldn't matter. LinkedIn would still drop the res down. It's what LinkedIn does. So I am sorry about that. Thursdays is lecture. So I do a live stream of a lecture. I think this Thursday is government and writing analytics reports on social media for government. And what I recommend to people then is don't watch it live. I do it live so people can ask me questions in preparation for tutorials, but you could always just watch it when you want. And then it will, usually the codec thing kicks in and it's much better. Anyway, let's get back to here. So Australia Day is tomorrow and they're looking at the analytics around the debate of Indigenous history, how terrible the first, the people who landed here were to the local people. I think every country has some of this sort of reconciliation issues going on. Just scanning the news. I want to see if there's anything for my social media, for my clients or for my students where this is something that they need to be super aware of. Everybody should be aware of it. Let's just be clear. But as an example, I work with young filmmakers from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander groups. So I want to know some of the hot meme type things that are going on in the community. Yeah, I saw this. So millennials and Gen Z are less supportive of celebrating January the 26th as Australia Day. I think some people call it Occupation Day. 60% of Triple J listeners backed moving. Triple J has a left-wing, very woke kind of an audience, so we always have to look at who we're surveying. It's much easier if you do behavioural analysis rather than declarative, because people will also say what they think is the right thing to say within their own community. Oh, you're watching in Sweden. Where about in Sweden? And hello, Sweden. What day is your national day? Australia Day, I think America has July the 4th. Is it Independence Day or is that just the name of the movie? I'm shocking. Is Canada the same day as us? Or is it the day after America? Yeah, I know Canada sits close to somebody else's People's Day, whatever. All right. So, yes, I need to read into that some more, specifically for me and my clients. So, let's come back here again. I'm sitting back from the mic. I can't see it topping out on the audio meters, so I'm hoping the distortion has settled down. It will change if I talk over here, and your chats with me are over here. It is Invasion Day. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Yeah, and Maureen. One's on Facebook, one's on LinkedIn. I'll put it up on the screen so that you can see. There doesn't seem to be any way to otherwise put each other's comments on different platforms because I'm obviously multi-streaming on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. I gave up on Twitch. I might go back to Twitch. We'll see. Okay. I saw the news about the global top. Let me go to... Oh, no, let's have a look. Google threatens to disable search in Australia over a new code. Good. This is the new media bargaining code, where basically the ACCC, which is like the FTC in America, I think, and then in England it's the OIC, something like that. But basically whatever the industry organisation is for media, they've come up with a new media bargaining code where they want social media platforms to pay newspapers and traditional media, heritage media, for delivering them readers. There's a complete ignoring of the fact that there's already monetization between the two. Google gives money to heritage media through AMP, where heritage media can list their own ad inventory on AMP, and then they'll get the ad revenue from that. And Facebook has something similar as well. Is it called Instant Stories or Instant something? I've covered it numerous times, and again, it's their own ad inventory, and they get paid for links, and they get the traffic driven through, and if people don't drive through and they read it on the platform, then they get the money and all that kind of stuff. There's political stuff involved here. This is not a real issue. But I want them to disable search for traditional media. And just to give you an idea, traditional media gets a pass in Google search. So does government, and so do authority sites. So Wikipedia, things like that. They will automatically come top. So even if you wrote something so much better and so much more involved and from a much stronger knowledge base, you're up against whatever the Daily Terror or the incumbent media is putting up. And so for me, the fight about truthiness is an issue. We'll put that to one side. Rupert Murdoch, if you're watching, you need to learn how to tell the truth. If they disable search, or they at least make it an equal playing field, it means when you search for a political statement, the newspapers won't come top. It could be the politician, and I work in politics. I work with politicians. I'm not in politics. It means we have a chance to get the policy statements up so that people can do their own research and make their own minds up. Anyway, enough of the rant. That's another thing I do. I test my tech, I catch up on social media news, and I have just a little bit of a rant. I'm going to look into that some more. I need to see where that bargaining code is going. They obviously don't have anybody from social media advising them, because some of the stuff I see coming out is either deliberately under-reporting, or they just don't know. Julie Bishop, I just don't want to read anything on Trump at the moment. How many years have we had? Is it Ofcom? June the 6th is the National Day in Sweden. Ah, okay. One of my favourite days. And Ofcom in the UK. Is that the media organisation? Why is cricket coming up in my social media news feed? This is one of the issues when you're trying to sort through and put in filters, curation filters. Yeah, I don't know. Let's have a look. What else do we have here? What do the dashboards have to say? How to make sure marketing messaging always lands. Instagram features you're forgetting to use. That could be quite good by Gora Pulse. So what I do is I go and find the content marketing channels, not the promotions, not the buy our social media dashboard and get 10% off or whatever. I'm not interested in the coupons, I'm not interested in the competitions. And I do like the content strategies. I like to know what they're telling their social media managers, who are then telling the clients. And I see a lot of crap come through, to be honest, but it's because it's generalized. So, for instance, my current series is specifically for government. And so when you look at a question like, how often should you post on social media, or what time should you post? It depends on your target audience, and it's the right content to the right channel at the right time. So if we're talking government, that's different than if we're talking fashion. Maybe people are interested in fashion 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday night when they're on their third glass of Chardonnay, but they're probably not interested in education strategies at that time. Or Ofcom, Office of Communications. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. 10 unique ways to use Instagram guides for marketing. Repurposing your best content for social media. There's a guy that does a really good job with his social media lives, David Packman. He goes back and cuts them all up into the snippets and then posts the most clickbaity, compelling, educational in some cases, clips. So I quite like that. What else do we have here? I just want to keep moving. Let's see what Facebook is telling us. This iOS 14, man, that's going to be challenging. If you develop apps for social media, if your organization is a shopping retail or government and you have apps, you need to ask your developers what they're doing to prepare for the App Store changes for iOS 14, because all the privacy issues are coming in for iOS 14. And this is not just for apps. So we're also looking at pixel retargeting. If you're used to when people visit your website, they land on a landing page, so you automatically generate ads to retarget them, remarket them on Facebook or Amazon or Google or Twitter or LinkedIn. You can do it on all those platforms. It's all changing. So Apple's already pulled all that from Safari, Firefox got rid of it, and Google Chrome is about to... you can still do pixel retargeting, but you've got to be on the ball. And then if you think about the impact of that on the eBays of the world and the big remarketing platforms of the world, let alone small businesses that are doing it, then I would suggest that you also think about the new security coming in. So the apps in the App Store, yeah, going to be interesting. I'm just looking at my streaming monitor that's going out and it looks pretty clear now. So if you're having issues seeing things, let's just switch to the screen and see. If you're having issues seeing what I'm posting up, still, let me know. Yeah, looks right in the stream. What I do is I obviously it looks fine on this screen, but then I stream through a vision switching software, which is still local, and then I look at the restreaming software, the multicasting software, to make sure it's clear. Grants now available for parade and viewing events. I don't know why, but Facebook Australia focuses on grants. And it's nice to see the small business grants coming through and the bushfire grants coming through and the art grants coming through and now the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras grants coming through. But man, I'd like to see something else. A to Z about what Aussies are loving on Instagram right now. Oh, is this the analytics one? I haven't seen those for ages. Let's have a look. Visit website. By the way, that's an example of a Fetch RSS working with Feed, because Fetch RSS pulls Facebook pages into the dashboard, which is something InnoReader couldn't do. And they kept saying to me, well, no, we can only do stuff where you're logged in, but I was logged in, but the feed didn't recognize that. And so it kept saying data not available or whatever. So that's why we've moved back to Feedly. What are we looking at? Can you see this clearly? Yeah. By the way, I've moved to the top right. One of the tests I've been doing is moving me around the screen. So that's bottom left, bottom right, top left, top right. It's pretty cool, huh? Don't you think I'm clever? I think I'm clever. Compare Facebook's oversight board versus the real oversight board grassroots initiative. I will. And I'm interested because I don't think Facebook knows its own tools that well. Like I remember Mark Zuckerberg saying that they don't listen in to devices, in spite of the fact that they had one or two services that do. One was the top hits, what music your friends liked the most. It didn't say which friends liked ABBA. Me! But it definitely still did it. And I'd also read the data research papers for, it was in one of the geofencing patents that talked about using ambient environment, which is basically the listening in patent. Also, of course, it was Apple phones and Google Android phones that were listening in, and then the data was being passed back. Passed back to Facebook's or the third-party partners. So there was a little bit of fudging there about ambient environment patents and the listening in-ness of the Facebooks. Oh, regarding Trump. Yeah, okay. Let's not talk about the T word. Not just for one day. Just one day. So let's see what's popular in 2020 on Instagram. We open the A to Z Instagram by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, work and live, paying our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Okay. Buy from the bush and buy local. They were two popular hashtags that we had campaigns on. When life gives you lemons, just start screaming. Cartooning, DIY. Oh, okay, so they're just using keywords. I thought they were going to find all the most popular hashtags. Cheers for girls in gaming. That's me. I played World of Warcraft all weekend. Don't judge me. Home workout, that was not me. IGTV. I can't find a multicaster that will work with IGTV. Otherwise, I would stream this out onto IGTV as well. I'm not that fussed. Okay, let's keep it real. Always for live streaming. Instagram live. Okay, fine. Something, bit of fun, bit of a year roundup, I guess. Let me see what the social media blogs have been doing. So Parler's been revamped, relaunched. Obviously not on the Amazon CDN. The CDN is the backbone that services run on. And often if you hear that Google and Yahoo and Facebook and everything's gone down, it could be through a DDoS, a denial of service attack, and often it's to do with the DDoS guard. And often it's also to do with Amazon CDN being down or something like that. Do we want to read that? No, we don't. No more monkey selfies. Yeah, we really noticed that. There's a lot of charging. People tame a monkey and then charge you to have selfies with it. So what would be interesting, of course, is that now if they brought in a law which said no more selfies, then they could use the metadata of the photos to pinpoint the date and time and location of where the photo was taken, and then post social media posting of that selfie, sue, fine, or block those people from re-entering the country again. I don't want to read more than the headlines at the moment. Oh yes, that's right. We looked at this last week. Harry and Meghan have left social media. And it's funny because I did a lot of press when they first launched their Instagram account. People asking me about that. Bridgerton the musical. Oh, I'm going to spend hours watching that on TikTok. So it looks like fans are singing songs, dressed up. Oh, let's do one. Let's get dressed up and sing songs on TikTok about Bridgerton. Have you been watching Bridgerton? Do you like Bridgerton? Oh, Shop Local has been promoted in Sweden and Scandinavia. We have a buy from the bush, and that's asking people to purchase products and services even if they're in the city, but from the bush, because the bush were affected by the bushfires. So the bush meaning the countryside, the really remote locations and stations. And I had the great privilege to work for several months providing training to country locations about how to set up their social media profiles, how to do short, sharp, shiny ads for not too much money but super hyper targeted, how to quickly set up an online store using one of the, if you solve it for one person, you've solved it for everyone type of platforms, peer-to-peer marketplaces like Etsy's, and how to leverage those to make sure that you are doing everything on social to help those platforms algorithmically identify you and then deliver your content out there. So such an important thing, especially for small towns who were mining towns and are no longer, or were deeply affected by bushfires, or lockdown means that they were a tourist centre and now people are not able to tourist there. Not that that's a word, but yes. Okay. Yes and yes to what, Maureen, my love? I came in too late and I was gabbling on. Let me know. Okay, so we're hitting the half-hour mark. What are we at? 28 minutes and 10 seconds. So almost done. I'm going to continue reading through these. Fresh evidence of big tech's domination when the industry unveils record financial results. I'm not going to go through it. It's The Australian. What I will say... where did that come from? Probably talking too much. Cheers. Vitamin drink. As a social media expert, strategist, I try to read at least a synopsis of the financial results. No, actually, I do read them. I scan them. And these are the things I'm looking for. What companies have they bought in the last year and sold? So when I see Facebook's bought a new AI company, or Twitter's bought a data research company, or LinkedIn has bought an education company, then I'm like, that's the new focus. This is where they're actually investing their money at the moment. That reminds me, there's a great website about companies that Google has bought, run into the ground and then sold. And I always put RIP when I put out notifications about them buying it. We went through this in the last session, I think. So I like to see where they're investing their money. I also like to see where they're not investing their money, and that's usually the departments that are not doing well. It was fascinating for me to see that Facebook's, let me put this up. ad library. And then it was how much has been spent since August. I think it's in the report. So since August 2020, there's been $7.5 million in ads on social issues, elections and politics. And so I know this isn't industry results, but for me working with government, I also am going to be watching this because as we move into election year, this is going to go up dramatically and then drop off again. So I can always judge the spikes and where money's being invested. So always follow the money. Where were we? We were here. So that's one of the reasons why I like to read through this, and I will read through this one later. Is there anything else here that we need to see? Sometimes I like to cover jobs on Monday. It's nothing quite like a Monday morning to basically say, I don't want to work here anymore. I'm going to go get a job as a social media manager or a better job or whatever. And I like to find interesting social media jobs for people. So if you would like that included in social media news, any interesting social media jobs, I saw one for Disney, another one in the Antarctica, working on one of the ships there, and just things like that. Let me know. Bridgerton, yeah. Spotify, oh yes and yes for the musical, Bridgerton, yep. Spotify invest in Anchor podcasting. Yeah. I don't track Spotify as much as I should. I don't even know if they're on my list here. Let me go through. Am I tracking them? Let me have a look. Got all the Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat, Sprout. You know what else I haven't got on here because I'm just updating Feedly now because I've only just gone back to it. I need to put TikTok in. Keep up to date on TikTok, particularly TikTok Australia, who have been through a few general managers and CEOs in the last year and a half. That's the other thing to watch. I'm going to finish up now, but I was watching a video yesterday about Apple's pivot to the M1 chip, which is just phenomenal for futurist trend. And the IBM CEO resigned. I need to check that, but I believe that he resigned. And I thought, apparently Apple approached them and said, we need this new chip. And they said, can't be done. No, we're not doing it. It's in the future. And Apple went fine and went away and did it themselves. And it's just causing such an upturn in the market. So always keep an eye on what companies they're buying, where they're investing their dosh, because they're pretty determined to go in that direction. I'm not a big believer that these big social media platforms are willing to spend some money, see if it works out. It doesn't work that way. Maybe little baby companies are like $1 million, but when they invest serious dosh, then that's not what they're doing. Okay. Thursday. For those of you that follow the 1 p.m. lecture, it's not the news, it's a lecture. It's government, social media analytics, metrics and insights for government. That's local government, politicians, ministers, senators, and to a certain extent government departments, although government departments sort of have a different requirement with numbers, but we'll cover that in the lecture. If you're a social media manager and you're interested in analytics and insights, welcome. You're part of my tribe because I love it. I'm going to talk about what the report should look like and setting KPIs, key performance indicators, setting the baseline, and what's important, what's not, and how to read the analytics so that you have a CDA at the end of it, a call to action or an actionable outcome. Yeah, something like that. Who knows where it's going to go. If you're interested, sorry, That's a really interesting point. Spotify earn more from podcasts than from major music labels. That makes sense because I work with major music labels and I know what they get up to. Anchor app is available in the App Store. Maybe could this go out on Anchor? I don't know. I mean, they might say you can only do 5-minute things or something. But thanks for that, Hammerstrand.eu. I appreciate it. What am I doing? So that's Thursday. Analytics for government. Social media analytics for government. I'm starting the tutorial group again in February. It's going to be on social media audits. So what you'll see is the Thursday lectures will be on how to do a social media audit, and then the private tutorials, there are group ones if you want to join a public group one, but there's also some private ones for clients. We will work through what the public multicasted YouTube Facebook kind of lectures are covering on audits, so that you can audit your own and your competitor, frenemy, joint venture partners, whatever. You can edit your industry's social media presence. So audit it, sorry, not edit it. Okay, I think that's all. Let's just say thanks to Maureen, Hammer, who else have we got on here? Going back through all the comments. Anne-Marie, thank you. And Hammer, I really appreciate you helping me fix the audio. The whole point of this is that then when I'm going into private sessions, I want to make sure my audio is not topping out and is unpleasant for people to listen to. So I really appreciate that very much. Thank you. All right, guys, thank you for joining me today. And if you're interested, I'll see you for the Thursday lecture at 1 p.m. Sydney time, exactly on the channel where you found this. And even if you're not, maybe you'll see me next Monday. If you want social media jobs on Monday, let me know. I'm happy to add in a job every so often. I did do that for a while, and I had lots of companies requesting me to post their jobs on my live stream, but I didn't hear from many people saying they wanted to hear about it. So there we go. Hammer is hammer. Yeah, I guess that. All right, hammer. So I'll pronounce it hammer. Thanks, guys. I'm going to love you and leave you. And